Sam, when it comes to school security, what's most important for schools and communities to consider, especially now?
I think what's most important to consider is the best possible way to make children as safe and supported as possible. And in order to do that, we have to consider what is and isn't feasible. And I actually think the tragedy in Newtown is illustrative in two ways. There isn't a lot that we can learn from the Newtown tragedy when it comes to what schools can do to keep kids safe. As you said, Newtown actually had a very good school security policy. There were protocols in place, and it was merely the act of a deranged person that was determined to commit unspeakable acts that brought this about. So there isn't much that schools can do in the face of a situation like that. What they can do, though, however, and what was also happening at Newtown the morning of this tragedy, the principal and the school psychologist were meeting with the parent of a second grader who had been flagged by some teachers because there were some concerns, just basic developmental concerns. This is a lost art in most schools. Most schools certainly don't have a psychologist, and not enough schools have the resources and are given the space to really focus all of those activities on giving children what they need in order to learn and grow.
Sam, Clark here. I wanted to ask you, because you said the school was already doing a lot in terms of basic security. Are there things that really set a school apart as being comprehensive in their approach, particularly with the students, in areas involving mental health that you like is maybe gold star examples?
Yeah, I think so. There are certainly good things happening at the state level and at the district level, but my gold star would go to a network of schools across the country that's been around for over 40 years. It started with a couple of schools in New Haven due to the work of a man named James Comer, who's a professor of child psychology at Yale. And one of the things that Comer recognized and has now seeded in schools across the country through something called the School Development Program is that schools exist not only to help children grow cognitively, but also socially, emotionally, linguistically, ethically, physically. And so the only way that a school can really do its work well, comprehensively, is by viewing all of those things in tandem. So the school development program schools don't view discipline as some kind of an add-on program. The school development model, as Comer says, is the operating system for the school. And I think that's really how the rest of us need to think about this. Security and safety is not something that exists on the side of what schools do. It's essential to the ways in which that school creates a high trust, high transparency environment organized around some shared values.
So, Sam, as the national conversation, over policy changes begins, and we heard what the president said, things have to change, what can parents and educators start doing right now?
Yeah, well, I think that's actually, I'll turn to Dr. Comer again, who said, I think very presciently, that with every interaction in a school community, we're either building a sense of community or destroying it. And I think all of us, the one thing, it's great that the national conversation is starting, but the one thing that all of us can do right away is be more mindful of the extent to which we are really building community. So for educators, I think the logical question is, to what extent are you proactively helping parents support you in the work that you're doing every day, whether it's regular communication and updates about the things that are happening in school so that parents can really talk to their children at dinner about everything, not just what they're studying, but the interactions between other kids in the school, to making sure that parents feel really welcome to volunteer. And then I think for parents, the question is, to what extent are all of us proactively working every day to ensure that our children are endowed with a sense of voice, value, and visibility that will lead them through not just school, but through their life. If all of us, educators and parents, can commit to those things going forward, alongside this national conversation about the changes that need to take place, I think we'll be doing everything that we can to create the greatest likelihood that tragedies like this never happen again.